Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining Marketing Intelligence Live. Marketing Intelligence is a channel that creates content that appeals to marketing and media professionals. Today, we have a very interesting topic for discussion, for which I have with me Saumya Agarwal. So, the topic of discussion is trends in UI UX design. UI UX design is a very interesting topic because we are constantly interacting with our devices on our phones, our tablets, our laptops, and all. So it will be a great point of view to know what is the marketer's point of view in this UI UX design. So I'll introduce my panelist Saumya Agarwal to all of you. Firstly, hi Saumya, how are you?
Hi Nikhil, I'm good. How are you?
I'm also doing fine. Great. So Saumya is a computer science graduate who loves to design. She's a certified usability analyst enriched with an experience of more than 5 years in the field of user experience design. She has an incredible side to her that reflects vivid emotions in her paintings. She comes from the beautiful hills of Mussoorie, India, which has always kept her close to nature and its wonders. She likes to think like a kid and work like a professional. It keeps her excited, puerile, curious, creative, positive, intellectual, and smart at the same time. Thanks a lot for joining us, Soumya.
Thank you, Nikhil, for such a lovely introduction. I'm glad to join the session today.
Great. So we'll straight away jump into it. So in this particular session, we'll cover the trends. What is recently happening? What are UI UX designers using? What kind of interfaces? What kind of experiences are there? And this will be a great session even for marketers to come to know. What is in and what can they use for their own websites and their own apps. So we'll first of all start with multi-devices experiences, how this is there in the current scenario. So sure, Soumya, you can take it away.
Right. So as Nikhil mentioned, we'll be talking about the trends in UX and UI. So first, I would like to tell the difference between UX and UI, because a lot of people get confused between these two. So UI is user interface, which is a part of UX design. UX design is user experience design, in which we ensure that the user has the perfect access to the product, has a great user satisfaction, and the entire journey of for the user to use a product is smooth. So to ensure this, that the user experience is great, there are different things that we do as UX designers. There's user research, there is brainstorming, and then comes there's this part that comes as UI design, which is user interface design. It is the part in which we ensure how will the design look like. So it's like there are these four things which are very important in UX design. That is NCPI, which is N stands for navigation, and C stands for the content, and P stands for the presentation, which is the way the product looks. And the fourth one is interaction, that how we interact with the product. So these are the four important parts of creating a delightful user experience. So that is the difference between UI and UX. UI is a part of the big umbrella that UX is. So today we'll be talking about the trends that we have been experiencing or that have been coming up in these years, especially in the year 2020 and now 2021. We'll be focusing on 2021. A lot of applications, a lot of different standards have really gained popularity. And the first one is that we're going to talk about is the multi-device experiences. So this has been in the industry, in the UX industry for long, but now it has really reached a very different level. People today, have started expecting that if I'm opening an application on my phone, I should be able to open it on my laptop as well. Earlier, we used to focus on only mobile. If we're making an application, we would first focus on the mobile how it will look on the mobile and how will it function on mobile. But today, people expect it to function at any device that they're using, and majority of the audience has a laptop and a mobile, and even the the tabs. And now in this era, we also have wearables, like we wear an Apple Watch. So how are these devices integrated for a great experience is what we ensure using a great user experience design. So, multi device experiences are the trend, and users now own more than one device, as I mentioned, and they want to switch between devices very quickly. So, the experiences are spanning across devices frequently, and the successful interactions allows users to smoothly transition between their devices. So to focus on how on now that it has really shifted, not from mobile first to multi-device experiences, as I just
That's right.
mentioned.
And Soumya, this is the reason why the screen responsiveness came into picture, right? Because
Yes.
of multi-device experiences. So they had to code, I mean, design in such a way that it is kind of that uniformity remains, like whichever device or
Yes. Yes.
the screen size that is there.
Yes, yes, you're right. Responsive web design has always been there, so that whenever we open that application at any device, it should allow us to use it as efficiently as it has been designed.
That's right. We'll move to our next trend, which is obviously into the wearables. So
Yeah.
wearables, where how they have to be, how design and how do they look. So we'll have a little bit of discussion on that.
Right. So they are attaining a lot of popularity. We all know that. I think each one of us has a watch and a wearable. Could be a digital watch, or could be a Fitband. It actually started with Fitbands, and then we had Apple Watch, and then we had this. I'm using this watch by Noise, and it's so good. It has all those things that an Apple Watch has, plus it also is very reasonable for any kind of users. Now, wearables not only in watches, but also there is smart clothing coming up today. I was just reading the other day that today doctors, in the hospital, in the medical world, we are now going to have these different wearables in which the heart rate of a person can be detected. The how I mean, if the user is wearing, like, even today, if you wear a watch, we can really focus on, we can have the oxygen level also checked with certain wearables. So wearables have gained a lot of popularity in these years, and it's gaining more popularity. There are smart monitors. There are
Yes.
watches I already mentioned. There are
With
fitness
respect to, I
bands.
think, the medical field, it'll be more detailed than compared to a smartwatch. Maybe just you're detecting a heart rate. There will be other health detectors which will be used within
Yes,
hospitals, which keep giving data to the particular
right.
doctors out there, so they can keep monitoring. Because at that time, obviously, there'll be advanced compared to watch which anyone can buy, and which is mainly used for fitness. So definitely, this is wearables has gained popularity within the medical domain.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
We can move on to the next trend that we want to talk about.
Sure.
Right. So personalization is actually a sense of UX. UX is empathizing with your users, and giving them a personalized experience is has just made the experience so delightful for the users. The best example for personalization is your own phone. I mean, it's also a product. It has also been designed, and your phone is yours. It recognizes you. You do not have to recall all your passwords. You can just log in into different applications by your thumb touch. So it has been personalized for you. Also, coming to applications, we all have been using Netflix, and we all know that there is a section called because you watched this. Even here, if we see the screen, we've given this example where we've encircled this area where it says because you watched Narcos. So what does it mean? It means that the AI part of the application understands what and how, I mean, what you really like to watch, and then it has analyzed and given you results that would be similar to what you might have liked, or what Narcos was all about. So giving these personalized experience, because there were, I am sure all of us spend a lot of time in browsing what to watch. A lot of times we are just sitting with a box of popcorns, that okay, today I'm going to watch something, and suddenly we don't even realize that we wasted half an hour in browsing that what we really want to watch. But this particular option really
Yeah.
sometimes
I have
helps.
even interacted with some people that the 10 minutes they are like intimidated only with this, and then they
Yeah,
go switch on the TV and they're watching the news or
it's
so.
overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
It's just so overwhelming. It's
Yes,
like
yes.
you're going to a store to buy something, and the store has so
Hmm.
many things that for 15 minutes you just look around until unless a salesperson comes to you and asks, how can I help you? And then you tell what you need, and then the experience has been personalized. Okay, this is what you need, this is your budget, and you get what you want. So similar to that experience today, applications like Netflix have so much to offer. There's so much of variety that users do get overwhelmed. So to personalize that, it helps users. Okay, these such, and sometimes this personalization really works because uh, I a lot of times I have seen that, okay, I something that I watched previously, similar to that, I get a lot of results. I also get to know that, okay, this is also there, and I happen to watch so many good movies or series because of this personalized experience. Not just Netflix, I mean, as I mentioned, our phone, and there's so, I mean, even on Swiggy, if I order something, I've been ordering sweets lately. So if I've been ordering a particular sweet, like I've ordered it 3 times, the fourth time it'll just say repeat order. I don't have to go in to the restaurant and then choose that sweet and then choose the quantity and then come to the payment section, and do all that process again. You'll just say you want to repeat this order, you want to change the quantity, and it's done. So yeah,
Okay.
personalization is
So,
one of the biggest
Soumya,
trends.
since like you worked in the UI UX field, when you have a very, I mean, you're getting the data of all your customers, like for example, say on Flipkart, you have seen what they are browsing through, what they've bought, and you have to put out a personalized experience. So, in terms of like an email, which is very personal as per the data that is mapped. So how do you kind of actually work on it? Like if you could explain to the audience, like where a communication is made, whether it could be like on the app itself or it could be in a separate with a it's a email. How does this whole process go about?
So we all have seen that the first line of the email is our name. That
Hmm.
name itself makes us feel that this mail has been written for me. That is one thing about the personalized experience. And then of course, whatever product you bought or whatever order that you placed, all those details will be mentioned there, which are personal to you, which you and the organization knows about. No one else knows about it. So that
Hmm.
entire thing. And also after that, let's suppose I want to return something that I ordered. I want to return it after maybe 10 days because I was out of station when it got delivered, and when I come back I want to return it. So
Hmm.
personalizing it in the sense
Hmm.
that
Like
okay,
in this actually what I was saying, like an experience, like when we see our Google photos and they put out our photos over the year in a form of a movie to us.
right, right,
So where does the UI UX designer come in, that I'll serve out this
okay,
experience to them by all this
right.
data I've got, that process for the same.
So the very concept of personalization is given up by a UX team. That this very trend has come up because UX designers have felt that personalization is important. It's like when we gift someone something and we pack it, we we write something on it. So it makes it very personal. It makes it that this has been done specially for me. So as UX designers, right from the beginning, right from let's take the example of Google Photos. Now, giving that notification to the user that there's a memory of you,
Hmm.
giving this personalization itself has been done by the UX team. And then how can you really edit the picture? Sometimes if you'll see, the picture has been edited by Google Photos only, and there's a small video created by them. All that is a part of UX. So all of this is done by the UX team. So we are there right from the beginning till the end of this entire experience that we're giving.
That's right.
So it's not that we
In
come.
this, the marketer works with you on this particular thing where you're talking that we can serve this out to a particular audience. It could be a premium level customer also, and you're putting out an experience to him as per the data that you've collected.
Yeah, so marketing is a part of letting that proper market know, the proper user base know that this is there, this is available. So yes, they do go hand in hand.
That's right. We'll move on to our next, which is the voice-based interfaces, which is being used quite a bit now. It's last 2 3 years it's come into being. So you can, great, Soumya, you can elaborate on the same.
Right. So voice-based interfaces, I mean, we all have used them. We all are so well acquainted to Siri, to Alexa, and so many other. I mean, okay, Google. Like in my family, my brother often uses it, and even my niece and nephew. They're so little; they're just 3 years old, and they'll be saying, "Okay, Alexa, play this poem for me." So it has become a part of it is getting there, it is becoming a part of the everyday things that we do, that we don't have to get up and if I want to call someone and my phone is in within this room, I can just say call this person, hey Siri, can you please make a call to this person, and it'll just call that person. I'm wearing my headphones and I can just sit here and talk. So they have been trending, and they have gained a lot of popularity, and they're completely changing the way we interact with interfaces. Instead of relying on touch screens and the mouse or the keyboard, or users interacting with apps and devices using their voice and voice based commands. So and there are these experiences like even accessibility wise, I have seen like I once went for a I went to this place where everyone in that room was visually they were blind. So how I was just talking to them, I was having a session with them, and I just asked them that how do you use these applications. Now Facebook, Instagram, all these applications are universal. Like there is no person, no user that they cannot have. So their user base is large. So they have to ensure that these accessibility things are considered. Although we all should always design keeping accessibility in mind. So he just told me that if I can't see but I can hear, so I just whatever I want to comment, I just speak it out, and whatever I want to hear, I mean, I want to know that what has been written in response, I can hear it. I can just play I can just play what has been written. So that's how helpful this add-on voice-based interface has. So it has made the interaction more meaningful, more useful, and it is just taking the entire experience of any product to another level. So yeah, it has been trending, and it will be trending.
With Google Home, if you've seen that various things in your house also, like you
Yeah.
could dim the lights and this thing. So,
Yes.
and completely integrated experience with made for even the appliances in your house if you're controlling
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and as well as reminders. And also, what do you feel like going forward? Where are we going with this, with the voice base? Obviously, they're getting all our data also, and accordingly, they can make better recommendation as per the AI of these systems. But what do you feel like going forward would be also some places where it can be used, voice-based interfaces where it's not being used now, and what is the scope and potential for this?
Scope is immense, as I mentioned. Scope is not get going to be less any day. And yes, sometimes there are there are pros and cons of everything, and there are certain limitations of everything. With smart homes coming into the picture, smart homes being designed, you know, it's always good to have two at least minimum of two ways to use a product. So if we create a house, imagine if the house is only based on voice command, and just in case there's no internet or there's some issue with the command, so you should not be just locked in your house, I mean outside your house. You should have a key to really open it. So there, we have to I think that is one thing that we all have to keep in mind, that there are limitations to things and we cannot just really rely on everything uh,
That's
completely.
right. It can't be 100%. There was a funny advertisement also in
Yes.
that where
Yeah. I just
there's
got
one
reminded
guy.
of it.
Yes, yes. He was trying to get into his house, so it was just a voice-based
He had,
command.
I think, gone for
Eh,
a dentist appointment,
Dental, yes, yes,
so
and
he
he
couldn't
couldn't say.
speak
Yeah, yeah,
when he came back, and the neighbor also couldn't understand. It started raining really heavily, as far as I remember the advertisement. It's a very interesting advertisement and
that's right.
really talks about what I was really trying to mention here.
Yeah, there has to be a balance. That's there,
Yeah.
and still I would say the voice based understanding is not up to the mark because it's very difficult. Like there are so many different dialects and how the people's
Yes.
accents are, so to technology will take a quite a long time. Like initially when we used to speak into for Google to understand, and then they had the speaker. Like unless you have it like a American accent, it was not really able to identify
But it's
what you are
getting
saying.
there. It's
Yes, yes.
getting there
But
now.
now it's Indianized. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
even on Google Maps you have an Indian voice, which is there and all because it's being as per the market. They are making a customized solution.
Yeah, that's localization. Like even like when we eat something, we eat a burger here at McD and we eat a burger outside India at McD. It'll taste different. The menu will be different. So it has to be localized. Every product has to be localized as per the audience, and
That's right.
that is how important UX is, to
Yeah, and they
understand your
identified
user.
India as a major market,
Yes.
and that's how they work towards all those for localization. And now it's even gone to regional, like as
Yes.
per the you can say you can understand. I think you can give commands in so many different languages also.
Yes, very true. Even my parents have started using, when they want to watch something and they're not able to browse, because browsing on a TV, it's a little difficult with,
Hmm,
typing it. So it's always convenient to just, speak it up that I want to see this. And it has been really efficient and helpful for them. So it is getting there, and I'm glad it is being used. And the usability part of it is really great.
that's right.
We can
We'll
move
move
on to
to
the
our
next.
next topic, which is
Yeah.
the gesture based interfaces. I think this is even more I would say now in the news than because voice has been for quite some time, we know, but
Yeah.
gesture based is very new. It's not there in many products.
Very true. Gesture based has one very exciting part of it also. Like you just feel so excited using something, and it is really it has always been there in the in the gaming world, but now it is coming in the general everyday applications and normal interactions like swipe up. I mean, I think 4 years back we didn't know what's how. I mean, I don't think we can identify a swipe up interaction, but today it's there. And even in a lot of I mean, I think Apple uses a lot of gesture based commands. And like I have an example that I used to use this application photo grid. So you arrange your pictures in a grid. Now every time you have to really want to try a different layout, you had to click on certain thing. There were 2 3 clicks to get there. So there was this gesture that you just shake your hand, shake the phone, and it'll just change the layout. So that was very interesting, and really I used to really enjoy doing it. So Yeah, gesture based interfaces are very new, and they are getting very acquainted. The users are
Hmm.
really getting acquainted to these, and especially applications like Facebook, Instagram. They have
Hmm.
really, since majority of the audience are using these applications. They have these gesture based interfaces, so people are getting acquainted to these.
That's right.
So now whatever new applications are coming, they are keeping that as their a
Hmm.
base, and then they're building up on it.
So, Soumya, basically in like gaming world, you had Nintendo, so you were playing a tennis game or shooting games and
Yeah.
all, and basically it used to track. I mean, where you're moving and all. I think those they were through sensors and all. So when you are standing in
Yes.
front of it, it
Yes.
could gauge that. But that's in gaming. So what do you feel like? Can you give some examples which is in a non-gaming domain
In
where
the
gesture-based
hospital
can?
world, in the medical world, in the medical world, I mean, a lot of advancement has already happened. Doctors can really just zoom in the view of a heart, of a patient's heart, that they are going to do a surgery on.
Hmm.
And with the technology like AI and virtual reality and augmented reality, all of these are helping create amazing experiences, and gesture based interfaces just add on to that experience. So zooming in the details of the heart, and seeing the details
Hmm.
of what is the heart rate and everything, and then planning the surgery. So in the medical world, it is really done a lot of advancement already, and it's made it really easy for the doctors to interact with these devices which are giving them this information.
That's right.
And
So there, like if you've seen, everyone must have seen an Iron Man where, with the gestures, he's able to,
yeah.
drag and drop. And also, in the world as of now, do you think there are that level of where they have sensors and they can, guess where your hand is going accordingly? You have a full interface in front of you. Like, is it being used in any way now?
Yes, yes, there is also. So I had attended a conference like 2 years, 3 years back, in which all UI UX designers and all people related to technology had joined in, sharing their different projects that they worked on. So there was one a very interesting thing that I saw, was that a person was drawing something, and he could really move the entire, it was a 2D drawing that we do, right? So he could move the entire model and show it in 3D with the gestures. So
Hmm.
that was 3 years back, so I'm sure today it's doing at a different level. And yes, there are these interfaces where people, they have just started to begin. They have started to, they were
I
in the
think with
research mode.
the COVID situation where you have
Has
contactless, there
Yes.
is a lot of potential here because
Yes, a
you
lot
would
of scope.
want not to touch the screen, and you
Yes,
would,
yes,
with the gesture it can understand and then do all your functions there.
yes. There are very interesting videos actually. I mean, a lot of interesting videos are there online
Hmm.
to show this what we're talking about. A lot of experiences have already been created for people, which talk about these trends that we are discussing.
Great. So we'll move to some other trend on, which is about the user onboarding flow, how it is changed whenever you log into a new application or you log into a website, say on Flipkart, and you are, there's the new customer there. So how do they onboard you? There is a certain flow. The graphics
Yes,
are really great. So we'll start off the discussion on the same.
sure. So yeah, onboarding has been a great trend. And why? Because we want, so the first step to have the user, so user has come and visited your site, and you want to convert that person to be the user of your product. So the first few steps are really important, which maybe in the years before this, people, or we didn't realize it, but today onboarding has taken a different angle, and people are focusing on it because it's really important for the
Mm,
user to feel that I'm on the right place or the right questions are asked. Let's
mm.
suppose if you want to give a particular experience to the user, how can you give that? Only when you would
Yeah, like
really.
when you log in to an app,
Yeah.
the whole experience, the dashboard, everything will be new to you, right? So this will at least ease you through that. Okay, you have to do this first, then this, and all in steps. So that will kind of ease out the person, and he'll be able to go in a structured way and use it. Obviously, because you want the person to use your app.
Right. So it just, this example is, onboarding is very, very relatable to the forms that we all used to fill. So we all remember, and we still do sometimes have to fill those, large forms when we, let's take the example of, opening a bank account. So we used to have these large forms in which there was so much
Hmm.
of data, and those five page form. So today, the person will just say that, you just have to sign on these pages and it's done. But still, there is a, you still feel that, okay, there's so much of information. Why? And even when we used to,
Yeah.
when we have to,
And
sign up.
ease of onboarding is being used a lot in the banking industry in marketing. They
Yes,
show how
exactly.
easy it is to start using the services and an account and all. Yes.
So the whole concept, the whole idea about it is that if you show something to someone, altogether, it'll be very overwhelming, and you might just, even as you as a user, would just feel that, okay, so much to do. Okay, let's do this later. But if you show it one by one, you give the breathing space, you reduce the cognitive load, and you take it step by step. It makes it easy, and it makes it very comfortable for the user to move ahead. So that is the actual concept of using onboarding, designing an onboarding flow, making sure that this flow is really very easy for the user. So also there's an example of Strava. We all have been cycling a lot lately, especially the last year. A lot of people opted for cycling as a physical activity, and even since the pandemic was there, so we all were not able to do any physical activity. So there was this
Mm.
importance of doing some physical activity at home. That is when this application named Strava really gained a lot of popularity. And what it does is it uses your GPS, and it helps you track your rides and or your runs. And it has some 55 million users today. And I personally loved the onboarding process that they have. It's super quick, super easy, and has been divided so well to create your profile right from the page that they welcome you. You can continue, you can just log in through Facebook or Gmail, or you can sign up with an email that you want to choose, and then you can create your profile in the next step. You can, they'll ask you if if they have a question. There's a proper page dedicated to it. You can just take time, and you can just answer it, then go back. And then the next thing is that if they want to talk about the if it is a free version, or you want to go for a pro version. And then for recording, then there's a particular screen to allow access to the location, and then so on and so forth, and then you reach the
Right.
final page.
Yeah.
So uh, also, it becomes a task sometimes to really understand that the user should, where the user might get frustrated. Like sometimes a lot of screens might also make the user frustrated, that why there are so many screens. I want to just quickly get where I want to, the home page. I really want to get there. So we have to ensure that these screens are minimal and they're important. So I myself had worked
Mm.
on a project some time back, like I think 2 years back, in which I had designed the onboarding process, and I remember how much effort, how much time went in that. There was so much of data that helped us, that okay, people are leaving the page on the leaving the web application on the third page. So there is something,
Mm.
some problem with the third page, the way the question has been asked, or the data that they're not getting the question. What is it? So onboarding is is really important, and is one of those trends today in UX UI.
That's right. And it can be gradual, like obviously these screens that you can see, they are not one after the other. They
Yeah,
are in different stages. Maybe he has just firstly, obviously when it's signing up procedure, then maybe after some time they will nudge you to, you can record your data, maybe sync some smartwatch or something, or connect with other people. So it's a gradual onboarding can also happen. You can't overwhelm him with all these steps initially,
right.
whoever is the user.
Absolutely.
That's right. So we'll go on next discussion point, which is 3D illustrations, which is also being used quite a bit.
Right.
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah, 3D illustrations. Actually, I remember, studying about a lot of animation at one point of time, and what I have noticed is that it is really, really difficult to design a 3D experience that will not disturb the user, or an
Hmm.
animation that will not disturb the user, because what happens
Hmm.
is humans are designed to, our eyes function like we would like to focus on, one thing. Like there are saccades. So saccades are movements that the eye make, and then we saccades
Hmm.
are like from one fixation. Like I have fixed my eyeball on certain area, and then I go to the next area. So the travel that I do is a saccade. So humans are, designed in a way that a lot of saccades on a screen might disturb the understanding, might disturb the focus. So when it comes to an animation, or let's say 3D illustrations, it's very important to design it in a way that they don't disturb the user. And today, 3D illustrations are, like again, they've gained so much of popularity because people want to really see all the ways to view a product. Like even in the e-commerce sites or applications like Mintra, they're going to come up with the next thing that they will be coming up with is that you can view a particular dress from all the angles. Although already we have pictures which help the user understand that how the dress looks from all the angles, but a 3D feel is something that's going to enhance the experience. So they are gaining a lot of popularity, but my point that I would like to add here is that it's really important that the way we design it has been really, kept in mind. That just because they are in trend, a lot of people tend to use a lot of illustration 3D illustrations and animations, but there's a lot of thought that goes behind it, which we really need to take care of. And here we are talking about the example of I think this
Vinyl.
is vinyl, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's like they have always
It's giving
been,
a wow factor that it is,
yeah.
really coming up to you, and that would, I mean, when you are browsing through, that would attract you to then look into that product, like because it's just popping up and giving that great effect, like how you can see here. Yeah.
And I have seen that whatever may be the time of new technology that, the new technology has to bring, vinyl records, they never go out of the trend. Like they're always up to date. And I think these set of interactions for an e-commerce mobile app, it's really great. The way they have used the 3D graphics, it really gives a very realistic, elegant, and it really engages the user. So yeah, and there are a lot of other examples as well that uh, we have, like as I just talked about Mintra. And then yeah, we have this this app. I think this is for travel. This is a travel booking app,
That's
right?
right.
When you're
It's like
traveling
a
somewhere,
lodging app, basically.
lodging app. Yeah. So now what I was talking about is, if you see, the animation, or I mean, that is coming from the header side, and then the animation that is coming from the footer side, they both have a sync. They both have a flow.
Mm.
It has been really thought of that the user can concentrate on one thing and then the other thing slides in. So yeah, they do definitely. Even in the restaurants, if you, I was also going through one of the restaurant applications. I don't remember the name, but in which when you log in, they'll give you an experience of that you're sitting in a restaurant. So I
Hmm.
think it's just making the user feel right where they're sitting, but making them feel very, uh, into the mode of where what they want to do in the application.
That's right.
So
There
they
was
are.
also one in the restaurant that they were using some kind of a projector, so you could see in 3D the food that is there, the food item basically, how it will look as the finished product.
Oh, that
So
that's news to me.
yeah, that level also
Yeah,
I've
but
seen
that's
where and then they could go like how a burger is looking or how that pasta would looking when it's served. So you're like getting to see the end result in like what it'll be, not
yeah.
just maybe the photo in the menu. And yeah, that is again like that is how this technology is getting more
I think
advanced
also
and giving a better experience. Yeah.
a lot of people have been, a lot of businesses have been facing this problem in the restaurant industry, that a lot of people, they buy food and then they just complain that it was not delivered properly. Sometimes it is genuine, but sometimes
Hmm.
I was recently reading a story in which a girl had, there was a story between a girl and a Zomato guy. I mean, it was a very unpleasant experience from both sides. Even the delivery guy had a very unpleasant experience, and she was also complaining of something. So I think that will also be solved if this thing comes in, that this food is being delivered like this is the experience, and when the customer also gets it, the delivery
Hmm.
guy can also really prove it that this is how it has been delivered. So
That's right.
that it'll be really helpful for
In
those.
Zomato, they have that option when you click on a particular food item, it pops out, so you can see the
Yeah.
photo very clearly. So that has been obviously used that that because that would enable the purchase in terms of because he's getting to see, yeah,
Yes,
this is what I'm going to
that's
get on the
motivating
menu,
the
and
user
so
to
many
actually buy
items.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like really making you feel more hungry and just going and booking it,
Yes,
or
yes, yes, definitely it does that. So even in maybe a person is just browsing through,
yeah.
he will be attracted to that. Oh, this burger looks really good, or this noodles
Yeah.
looks really good.
So all these
It's like, yeah,
experiences are just, an add-on to motivate the user to finally use the product, or to really be an active user. So these are all enhancing the experiences that users are having today.
that's right. Next, we'll move to the trend of glass morphism.
Yeah, that's something very new.
That's right. Sure, you can take us through that, like what exactly is this, and then and we'll just showcase that also.
Yeah. So first of all, I'd like to really talk about what glass morphism is, because it's a very new term and a lot of people don't really know about it. It's basically a trend in the interface design, particularly in the interface design, wherein this design style is characterized by a translucent frosted glass like effect. Like we all can relate to a translucent glass, how it looks. So it has, we can see a little bit through it. So hence the name glass morphism. And what it does, it adds depth and a visual hierarchy, or kind of focus on the content that we want to highlight to the users.
Hmm.
So we've also tried to show here an example of this application. So if you see, this the background of this application is a little, kind of translucent. So it really emphasizes on things that you want to emphasize,
That's right.
and there's a visual hierarchy of. So if I want to show a particular data,
So
if I
I'll
want
just tell the viewers this is the home workout and fitness app, and this has been designed by Sachiko Nakayama.
right, right, she's
Yeah,
the designer who's designed it.
that's
So
right.
yeah, glass morphism, again, it's very not every time people would use it, but it's a very good add-on to the interface design world to emphasize, as I mentioned, on the visual hierarchy or on the UI, what you want to really focus on, the content that you really want to highlight. So yeah, we can go to the next one.
That's right. Next would be about minimalism.
Right. So minimalism is has always been into the trend because no one likes unnecessary things coming in. Everyone likes that it should be simple, minimalist, and aesthetic. Even the 10 heuristics that we know, the 10 heuristics given by Jacob Nielsen. One of the heuristics is aesthetic and minimalist design. So uh, this trend has it may be a trend right now, but it is something that is always considered in a design or in UX. So if you see a lot of applications, in majority of the applications, they focus on minimalism. Let's say Uber is like, we all have, majority of us have used Uber, and we all can I can vouch for it that the design is so minimal. It really focuses on what is important, black and white. The entire interface is black and white mostly, but the important parts are really well highlighted. You can see the
Hmm.
cab, where is the cab, and whatever is the task it is so efficiently done. So it's aesthetic, and it is minimalist. So minimalism is always as I mentioned, important, and it will always be in trend. So here also, if we can see, I think this is an app for booking a
So
room.
this is tenant management, an app
Okay.
related to that by Johnny Vino, who's designed it
Hmm.
basically.
Hmm. So yeah, even here, if you see, with the help of data, even if there is data here on the left, you don't feel overwhelmed that, oh my god, it's so clear, it's so it's so easy to understand, it's so minimal, that even if there is data, we can
Hmm.
understand that what this data interprets.
That's right.
Any user can
So
interpret what this data
basically,
means.
some wanted to know, like, because how is it like with such less, you can say, showcasing within the application, you are still able to, get create that kind of experience that appeals. So how do they actually, what is the
It
thought
takes a
process behind it?
lot of,
Yeah.
yeah, it takes a lot of brainstorming, it takes a lot of research. Researching in who are my users is the most important part. Like, knowing your users and then designing is so important. And then, yes, of course, we create the first look, maybe, or the first design that the user would be interacting with, and then there's a lot that goes behind. We do a lot of brainstorming, we do a lot of iterations. Sometimes a lot of iterations happen, that okay, let's keep it like this. A lot of standards are considered, a lot of factors are considered, and even then there's usability testing done, that what we've designed, is it usable, is it minimal, is it aesthetic, is it
Hmm.
accessible, and then finally the product comes in. So yeah, it's not just a one day thing. It does take a lot of things to give this experience.
That's right. Like there could be even like into psychology, and where a person is, what a color is certain appealing for,
Yeah.
and it arouses a certain emotion. So
Yes.
so many aspects and layering into just getting something simple also.
Very
You know.
true, very true. Yeah, absolutely. So that is what we have to, as UX designers, understand. Really place ourselves in the user's shoes,
Hmm.
really empathize with them, and majority of us may not have any accessibility issues. So keeping in mind the people who might have some accessibility issue, like I mentioned, people who are blind or have any kind of issues in interacting with these devices, they should not feel that this device is not made for me.
Hmm.
That's the focus. The focus is that we are here to help you, we are here, this product is for everyone who wants to use it, or who can be benefited out of it.
That's right.
So yeah.
So Saumya,
uh,
basically in when you have advertising, you have the banners. everywhere you look, like then on any website there will be banners on apps and all. Do you think minimalism can also come in there, where you want those clicks coming in and people converting through those banner ads?
It is definitely considered. So even creating a banner ad involves UX, because that ad is for a particular audience. Audience are your
Hmm.
users, and you are creating that. People will be seeing that. So a lot of thought goes in designing it, that okay, if I'm designing a banner ad, let's suppose for this particular live session, so I have to ensure that who is doing this live session, and who's going to, what will be the timings. uh,
Hmm.
uh, so there's minimalism. There's not that okay, we'll be talking about everything. What So if
Hmm.
we are covering these 10 trends, we've not really mentioned everything over there. We've
Hmm.
mentioned
Yeah,
what
because
we are
that could
going
be
to.
the tendency. You're stuffing everything because you
Yeah,
feel you are communicating whatever is
yeah,
going to
yeah,
happen in whatever event or whichever your product or service. But the purpose is just to, okay, that is a pathway. Like he should enter that pathway and then come to the, like, go to a landing page or something. So that has to be understood, because generally when as marketers also you want to so much in that, I have to communicate my USPs, that you are like uh, putting it so much in, like stuffing it into the banners and all.
yeah. Even like writing an email, I mean,
Yeah.
there is a subject. So the subject, if sometimes, we really feel, what do I write in the subject? There's so much to tell. I mean, it's so
Hmm.
difficult to choose the subject of this particular mail. So then finally, when you realize that okay, this particular sentence or this particular set of words really helps me explain that is the subject of the email. And then you start with addressing to the person you are sending the mail to, and then you start with a little introduction, then there's a body, and then there's a conclusion. So everything has a structure, and that is how we are that is how the human brain really understands things.
That's right.
Everything has a proper structure.
Yes. Yeah, we all can overcomplicate it, because when you're thinking from only your perspective, then you overcomplicate things only. Where you
Yeah,
have to keep it very simple in a
simple.
structured way. What is this actually he's going to take out it? What is he going to be attracted to? Just a few things, and they should be communicated well.
A lot of times in the email also it happens, we tend to say the
Yeah.
same thing again and again. So we read
Yes,
it
yes.
again and we say, okay, I have already mentioned this, let's omit this. I've already mentioned this, let's omit this. Okay, these are the main things, so let's bold them or let's highlight them.
That's right.
So that is again a very good example of thinking about the person who's going to read the mail.
Definitely. Next, we have the trend of the large typography that is used in many websites I've seen in like creative companies or design companies.
Right. So typography, uh, every time a user clicks on a link to your website, they're unconsciously judging the visual appeal of it. And we've already discussed about onboarding and so many other factors. But typography is something, again I would say, like minimalism, typography is something which will never go out of trend, and it is something which maybe a lot of people have not talked about the importance of. So, it is like where plain text, a normal text, has been infused with a lot of art, and a lot of a personality has been given to a text, to a
Hmm.
particular text. That if I want to write something very exciting, we usually use an italic, and if I want to really mention something which is very important, I might use a bold, and if I want to just keep it simple, I'll use a regular text. So it's very important. Typography is extremely important. It also, I mean, I would like to mention here two things: the difference between a typeface and font, which
Hmm.
a lot of people don't know about. They tend to get confused between the two. So, typeface refers to a group of characters and letters and numbers that share the same design. For example, we have Times and Arial. These are typefaces. Now, when we have a specific font, so specific style of a typeface with a set width, size, and weight. So, for example, Arial is a typeface and 16 point Arial bold. So, this is a font. So,
Hmm.
typeface is the creative part and font is the structure. So,
Yes.
and if you see, there are so many such beautiful fonts today. Just for an italic, there are so many, like, the fonts using italics. And even for a regular font, there are so many. I mean, for a regular typeface, there are so many fonts that we have. And I'd also like to mention about Steve Jobs here. He when he was doing his when he was at university, when he was studying, he did a lot of calligraphy tutorials. And that time he thought that they'll be of no use. I have learned this, but I always believe that nothing that we learn is ever goes vain. And same happened for him. When Macintosh was the first computer, as we all know,
Hmm.
and it had beautiful typography, and that is why we could enjoy several fonts and typeface options even today. And yeah, so even here, if
Yes.
we see this example of this particular poster, there's all text. Like, I mean, there's hardly an image except for the bulb. There's no image here and those icons over there, but
Hmm.
we all can read every word mentioned here.
Hmm.
So that is the beauty of typography. Amazy Labs is like, it's giving a very, it has a personality. This text has a
Hmm.
personality. And making your web work again has a very, the colors, the width of each letter, the height of each letter has a different tendency.
Hmm.
Where they have written bright, they have those outlined it with
Yeah.
small lines. So it makes it like,
Where you have to convey, I think, quirkiness. This is a good trend to follow in your
yeah, as I
designs.
mentioned, minimalism, typography are some things which
Hmm.
never go. Like 3D or 2D, flat design, material design, all these things keep coming and going as per, the user needs or as per the user likes. But typography, minimalism, aesthetics, all these have been there and will always be there. I mean, they'll always be a part of the trend.
That's right. Um, awesome. So we've covered all the trends that are there for uh, you can say
Okay,
UI UX design, but we'll come to some other points of discussion also, because we are in this session for UI UX design. So
so
some other which are interesting, which we can discuss on. So firstly, we is the impact of remote working basically. So how do you think remote working and the increased use of project management softwares or team management on their UI UX, how has there been the impact over the say last 1 year or so?
immense, huge, I would say. Because I remember some 3 years back, someone just saying that one of my brothers telling me that I wish there was an application to fill in my timesheets, to fill in my these everyday things which sometimes I just tend to forget. Like, I am working all the time, and these sometimes filling a timesheet was also very tedious. Putting in hours and then submitting it. Sometimes the project name would go wrong, something or the other. They were not really very user friendly or not very well thought of. But today,
Hmm.
we have chatbots. We have, we can just tell the interfaces that just fill in my timesheet for today, or we can just. I think even Cortona has just come into
Hmm.
the picture, helping you remember what is your day, what does your day look like, what are the things pending. You haven't replied to this person because today we are as humans. Are really, really, uh, we are forgetting that we are humans, because we are just working, and we tend to
Hmm.
forget a lot of things because there's so many things today.
It's like a
uh,
cyborg only. You without your phone, you are not complete basically.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
And even like, it's very rare, it's very rare that a person is working only on one
Hmm.
project in any of the companies, especially when people have 5 6 years experience. They are always involved in multiple projects, and there's so many things to remember. That And today when we are working remotely, we're not meeting. When we used to meet, there were meetings happening. If we missed the meeting, like if I've missed the invite, people would around tell me that, we have the meeting, you don't know, let's go. So
That,
now that we don't have that, we
yeah.
are alone sitting in a room with the laptop, or maybe one more screen, two three screens around us. We're just surrounded by these things, and we definitely need a friend, or a device that can help, or an application that can help us with these multiple things that we are doing. So as long as, I think remote work is going to be there forever. Hoping that, yeah, we do go to office one day, and it is not like every day, part of like everyday
Hmm.
thing we do get to meet people and work. But yes,
That's right.
it has gained
Well,
a
I think
lot.
for the font, firstly, it's easier on the eye basically because the time that is being on screen is
Yeah,
increased so much. So when
yeah,
you have an application or program, they will be looking into that factor.
yes,
Like for example, if you take now in Android update also had come, it was earlier had come in iPhone where as per the time of the day the brightness was adjusted
yes, yes,
automatically.
yes,
That's right. So these kind of things, with the data they're coming in, like they have to make those adjustments so it is a better experience. Because when you are using a particular like a project management app, like if your company is using it, a SaaS product is going to be using it for at least 3 4 hours in a day. So that how is that experience going to be with respect to it on your eyes, as well as reminders coming in, or you arranging directly drag and drop meetings, that all things. So this, I
even
think all of them have upped their game because you are
yes,
now
absolutely.
competing with each other in that way. You're giving them the better experience so that they will choose you. Yeah.
Like, I remember we all used to use Skype for, talk. Interacting whenever we had meetings. But today, and I remember using Zoom earlier, and using it today. There's a huge difference, and it's really good.
Mm.
The way they've picked up today a lot of. So it's like, we all remember Xerox as, like, not as a company, but as, that photo
The
state
function.
instead of
Yeah.
photos. Yeah, as the function. So today,
Mm.
Zoom is equivalent to a video call. A conference call. It is
That's right.
gaining that kind of importance and that kind of popularity. So yeah, and they're doing really well.
Mm.
All these platforms, they're doing really well in
Yeah.
helping
Yeah,
users.
and they didn't rest on their laurels, even though they were getting so much usage. If you see
Yeah,
on the last 1 year, the things that have been added, like the virtual backgrounds to
yes,
rooms being created and all, is I mean, they are the pioneers in that, and they have like gone, like if you take the trajectory has gone upward only because they've not taken it for granted. And they, yeah,
absolutely.
UI UX team has still kept on improving themselves and giving a better experience.
Yeah, that is why they are there where they are, because they thought, they envisioned it, and they did a
Yes.
good research. Smallest thing of a virtual background. Uh, it's like so convenient for the users, because they
Mm.
realize that people are at their home, and it's not always possible for them to have a great background. And they've given that feature, and a lot of other things also in the platform.
That's right. So we'll go to our next topic. That is the augmented reality and virtual reality. What kind of developments? Because year on year, there are a lot of advancements in technology with respect to both of them. So, if anything, you could share with respect to that.
Sure. So, as I already mentioned when I was talking about gesture-based interfaces, today in the medical world, there's a lot of advancement in terms of AR and VR. If a doctor is really doing a heart surgery, he can really see in front of him the position of the heart through AR and VR, like through augmented. So augmented means adding on something to your reality. And
Hmm.
what is your reality right now? You're adding something, you're augmenting something to it. Like the game named Pokemon Go. There were no
Right.
Pokemons in real, but you would
Yes.
see them through your screen because it would add to your real world.
Yes.
And virtual reality is visualizing a world which is not really existing, but it's
Different
there
world only.
virtually.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a device like an Oculus to really view that world. So, using AR, that heart, I mean the state of the heart can be in front of the doctor while doing the surgery. Like he
Hmm.
knows that, okay. So otherwise, the doctor has to look at a particular device, then concentrate on the
Hmm.
heart and look. Okay, how much is the heart rate
Hmm.
stopping? So he has to shift. But
Hmm.
now with the help of AR, the doctor can see it. He there's no need of him to move his head here and there. He can concentrate more and can really see that what is the state of the heart right now. I mean, if it is going up, it's going down, how many beats, all those details. So that's one example
That's it.
I'd like to give.
Also, I
And
think the in the training aspect, it can be used like you can have a virtual surgery happening in with a headset basically,
yeah, so
and
I was just about to
yeah.
give you an example. I had worked on one, not really very actively on it, but I was a small part
Hmm.
of it. But I knew how it was done. So it was to train the nurses. We had
Hmm.
created a virtual reality platform using the Oculus, that nurses were trained to keep a baby in the incubator.
Hmm.
So an experience was created for them, that it was an international project. It was somewhere out of India, and it was to train them that if baby is in an incubator, how will you keep the baby in the incubator? What are the different things that you have to take care of? So we had created that experience for them. So you don't really need babies, a lot of babies, to really train those nurses. You don't need I mean, really an incubator. You don't have to spend a lot on all of that. But simply with the help of this virtual reality experience, the nurses can be trained. But I would also like to mention that long usage of an Oculus or devices that give you that experience really harm the human health, and they really harm. They are not very pleasant for every person. Like, I
Hmm.
did not have a very pleasant experience. I played a game that was a roller coaster ride, and it was I think around 15 minutes. And after the 15 minutes, I I was like, I'm never going to use an Oculus. So we have to keep those things in mind as well. That
That's it.
we have to find out that ideal time for a user to be okay using such experiences. It should ultimately just to make something better. We should not really harm something indirectly. So
That's it. Yeah, training aspects like in for the pilots, flight simulations and all is all
yeah,
virtual reality.
absolutely. Yeah.
And they all, the people who are working on these, the designer, they have to make it more and more realistic, right? That has to, like, when you compare, even if you take a simple thing as a game like a FIFA game, you take the FIFA 2000 and now 2001, you can see the difference because it has just got elements have been added to make it more and more realistic. Even if you take the VFX that has happened over the last. So that is how those developments will make it more and more realistic. Also, there is a way to use it which has to be kind of optimized way. Here is in a training purpose. It can also be an entertaining purpose where these things are used. And the biggest entertainment, I would say that the if you see the basis of the short video apps is augmented reality. Like we can add so many elements. So they have been formed because of this
Yeah.
the advancements in augmented reality basically. Great. So we'll move to our next, which is empty and error states illustration, like the 404 errors and how uniquely they are showcased in cartoon elements and in it and all. And so on this, maybe if you could share something.
Right. So this is actually again makes me recall one of the heuristics, that is help users recover, diagnose. Sorry, help users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. So this is one of the heuristics that I was mentioning. So these particular states that have been created today. So what happens is if you just write error 404, now for the
Hmm.
user, they would not understand what a 404 error is unless and until you tell them that okay, this error has occurred. You are telling which
Hmm.
error, and then you're helping that how can it be recovered. Try
Hmm.
try to reconnect to your internet. Maybe your internet is not working. Try to restart your machine. Maybe there is an update pending. So
Hmm.
that helps the user. Okay, otherwise I have spent like hours figuring out what happened, what really happened. Like there was a very small issue once. I was using a software in which it needed a mic access. So just because my system was not updated, and I had not restarted my machine, I was not able to use it efficiently. So
Hmm.
this I realized because of the experience, but if it was first time for me, I didn't know. So and talking about those beautiful illustrations, yes, we will never want the user to leave our application, so we engage
Hmm.
them with a small game. Like a page is taking, so sometimes there's a lot of data that is loading, but the user doesn't know, right? If I have searched for something and maybe a lot of data is loading, it's fetching from a lot of data and giving the results. Now the user doesn't know that. For the user, it is I type something and I should get it. I should get the results immediately with the kind of advancements that we have today. So just in case those states occur in which there is no data, which is possible, can happen. So there are these states that we have designed, keeping in mind the user should not get frustrated or should not be like, what is this? I'm leaving. Let's go
Yeah.
to some other search engine and search, or let's go to some other application.
Yeah. Also,
Engaging the
internet
user
if
with
it is
something.
down or something, then even those kind of messaging is
Yeah.
showcased, and also what is written is very important.
Yes, very
Like
important.
you can't leave the customer very disappointed or something. You have to say, okay, you can try again. We'll try
Yeah.
after some time. Something like that. Like just comfort him and that.
Like
Yeah.
even on Zoom, a lot of times it happens that I'm talking and suddenly maybe other people are not able to hear me. Now, how will I know if everyone is on mute,
Mm.
everyone is not showing their video, and I'm just
Yeah.
speaking? So there's a small message that comes reconnecting, or your
Yeah.
internet is unstable. That prepares me that
There
okay,
was
I have
a
to stop.
controversy also in that. Then how do they know the mic is? So if you opted, but that is another issue.
Yeah, that
That's
was another thing. I'm talking about the
yeah.
internet. Like a lot of times it happens. I'm speaking. I don't know
Yes.
if it has been unstable because my end the voice is clear because I'm
Yes.
speaking.
Yes.
The other person is listening to me. Maybe it's breaking for them. So that message on the platform that your internet is unstable stops me and makes me ask them that am I audible to all of you, and then we go ahead. So yeah,
That's
these
right.
things are really important.
That's right. No, yeah. So I was just saying because that was one issue that how are they able to hear it when I have muted my mic and all. But there was some controversy in that. But those I think
Yeah, I
Zoom
think that
and
was a Shweta case that happened.
yeah, Google Meet like and also um, what do you call they had kind of clarified in the things that they have in the condition.
Yeah.
Also, many apps
people
they have
can
a complete
unmute People can unmute other participants as well. I
yeah yeah
think people didn't want to
like
unmute
it
them.
gives it in that are you can you use the mic accessibility and then maybe a little bit more detailing when you're even when
Yeah,
your location when you're using the app you can only track me
allow once,
so
allow
yeah
always. Yeah,
so this is with the people only when they went out there because people have to protect their privacy also so there was a certain procedure in that they, which is very important because privacy you can't allow everything to be tracked by a particular app right so you have to know what is acceptable and what is not and that was a very interesting case in that um awesome so next would be the virtual assistants that are being used the Alexa and Siri and all, and their user interface. I'm not talking about that particular device per se,
got it.
but
Yeah,
the assistants which is within your phone and all. Yeah,
right. So I think you're talking about chatbots and these assistants that have been
virtual
created. And then,
assistant, Google
yeah, and
assistant,
how and what is the
okay,
how
Google. Yeah,
how are these designed so that they look they look very personal to the user. They don't feel that, "Acha, this is a robot, I don't want to interact with a robot."
That's right.
So, how they're done is, of course, there's a lot of artificial intelligence involved. And what is artificial intelligence? It is that, a machine has been uh, given a set of instructions that helps the machine understand that what is that the user wants. Let's suppose I ask my phone that show me pictures from June 2014. So my phone is not a human to understand that, and humans have that intelligence, but it has been designed in a way that if this kind of query comes, what is the logic behind the device to show the results. So similarly with the chatbots, there are certain set of commands that have already been stored in the database that will help the chatbot understand that, okay, these could be the cases. If the user answers this will be the reply, this will be the automated reply. Or if the user says that I had a problem, so there are already, if you see, if suppose I want to talk to the customer representative when I ordered something from Swiggy,
Hmm.
I go to the help section and it redirects me to the chatbot section that, hi. And before that, I choose the issue. Now, when I've chosen
Yes.
the issue, there are a set of things that have already been predetermined for the chatbot. That if the user says this is what you're going to reply. If the user says this, you're going
Hmm.
to reply. And after that initial, so what they've done is through this, they have omitted a large number of problems which can be sorted using a chatbot. Now, even
Hmm.
after that, if the user is not satisfied, they of course have an option to, they give you option. Are you satisfied, or you would like to anyway talk to a customer representative or help? So they connect you with the person. So that is how they are designed, and it's the interface, the way it looks. It's very simple. It's just like a chat. Uh, it's just that there are some inputs that the user has to give. Sometimes the duration, or sometimes a picture of the food. So all those things have to be kept in mind. That what is the purpose of this chat, and what are the things that might be needed. So how can we design that? All those things are considered in the interface.
That's right. And lot of, I think now food delivery apps, they are really acing this particular thing.
Yeah,
Um, in the earlier times, they obviously you could directly call them, but I don't think now any major player has a direct calling service
yeah,
to support. So they identify, like, if you are a paying customer, then they will identify and try to solve your problem within the chat itself, automated messages that come when they understand what you're saying. If not, then they can they identify a serious issue, and then the executive actually calls you. So it saves a
yeah.
lot of time and cost for that company.
Absolutely, lot of time and lot of cost, because earlier they had to have 100 representatives, executives to address these so many customers. Today, even if they have 10, or let's say even if they have 50%, has been cut down. This is just an example. In reality, I'm sure it would be much more than this.
That's right. And the last topic for today would be the dashboards that we use in all our analytics. So for data visualization, basically. So what do you feel? What kind of strides have been made, and what are the new developments that are there with respect to this?
Again, I as the first question was also very similar, a little similar to this one. Yes, a lot of advancement has happened because, as I mentioned, we are working remotely today. We don't have a lot of interactions happening. The dashboard is a personal kind of a personal assistant, has become a personal assistant to you, that it tells you that, okay, for today these are the tasks that are pending. It really helps you manage large data in a very efficient manner, and gives you, so there's so much of data to present. There are these graphical representations today which are so helpful to let you know that, okay, this project's delivery is at this time, and how can I really, how many days do I have for the delivery of this project, and how many risks, if it is for a project management tool, then if the manager has so many projects under him, so many resources under him, humanly it's not possible to really keep a track of everything. So these dashboards are so helpful that it really helps them that okay, I had given this task to this resource, how much has been done, the resource is updating it there, so everything is being updated. It's also helpful for the employee management tools are also there, like the employees can manage their projects, because as I mentioned, a lot of us are working on more than one project. So a lot of advancement has happened in it. A lot of development is still happening.
There are two data in a way, like for example, the traffic
Your
website for a
voice
particular.
is breaking. I can't hear you. Hello?
Yeah, can I think everyone can hear me now?
Yeah,
Uh,
lost you for a bit.
so okay, the data which is automatically coming in for your particular website and how that has an impact on a certain product that you are selling, to showcase that visually, like what kind of things, like what is your process in that, like I will so that you keep improving on that, how you can showcase that visually to the particular, so it becomes very clear, like this particular graphs are there, or the a trend is shown, and also what kind of process do you use in it?
Process to create a dashboard?
Yeah, like to showcase the very you can say the data which is going to be acted upon, data which is very crucial for that particular company seeing as per his usage and all.
Right, so it's actually like the basic process for UX. Like we try to understand what is the intent. Like if it is for a product, okay, that is the intent. Now, what is that in the product that we really want to focus on? The conversion rate, the ROI, or any other thing? Is the usability criteria, the critical success factors? What is it? I mean, we need to define that, because if we take it as a whole, we won't be able to focus on what we really want to. So we define that, then we define the user base, that who are the users of this product, what are the market segments of this product, and then we focus on the marketing and the branding, how it has been done. And then we again then it comes, like suppose let's take the example that I want to take the conversion rate, that the conversion rate for my application is has been 40% in the last 2 months, and why is it not increasing? So we see that, okay, let's take the example of onboarding. So while onboarding, on the third and on the seventh step that the user takes, my onboarding process is of 10 steps. On the third and on the seventh step, a lot of users have been leaving the application, which is why the ROI is not reaching the targeted level. So
Hmm.
now data, all this data can be represented in the form of a dashboard, that we have these many users. In the month of March, we had this much ROI. In the second month, we have this much ROI. In the third month, we had this much. Now, understanding from this data, we can get that, okay, uh, third and the seventh step were having a problem, we redesign it, and now let's see what is the conversion rate. And suddenly we see that there's a rise in the conversion rate, means that whatever fix we did, whatever solution we gave, worked. So yeah, that is the entire process of
That's right. So it's has been a great session for this in trends in UI and UX, and I would like to thank Saumya for joining us for this particular session. It has been great having you.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thanks a lot for having me. I also learned a lot, and it's always good to interact. We get to know so much. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me. And for the audience, please subscribe to the Marketing Intelligence YouTube channel, because if you're a subscriber, firstly, you get all this great knowledge from all these people who have worked in different aspects of marketing. Today, we have talking about UI UX design, which has a major impact on marketing. And you're also part of a community where you are can be part of events like this, or we have even informal meetups. So it's kind of a community that we have going here in Marketing Intelligence. So please to join it, please subscribe, and then you will get all the messaging. There are a lot of great events coming up like this, and we'll be discussing on things which having impact on the market as well as impact on the industry and what is new, so you all are updated in whatever you are doing, and it helps you in your campaigns and helps you in doing a better job in your marketing efforts. So thanks a lot, thanks for joining us. I'll see you then. Bye, see you.